Listen, I've tested every AI image generator out there, from first DALL-E in ChatGPT to Midjourney to Stable Diffusion, but nothing has blown my mind quite like Nano Banana. And here's the thing, most people are using it completely wrong. We're not just talking about making pretty pictures here, I'm talking about creating professional grade visuals that could pass for real photography, artwork that sells, and designs that actually convert. By the end of this video, you'll have the exact formula to get consistent, stunning results every single time. First things first, let's get you set up properly because even this basic step is where most people mess up. I'm pulling up Google Gemini Flash 2.5 right now, and you can see I'm selecting Nano Banana from the Tools dropdown. Now let's talk about the interface for a second. You'll notice Nano Banana doesn't give you a million confusing options like some other tools. This is actually a good thing because simplicity equals consistency. But don't let that fool you into thinking it's limited. We're gonna push this tool to its absolute limits with our prompting strategy. You need just 6 components: subject plus action plus environment plus art style plus lighting plus details. Now I know that sounds like a mouthful, but promise you, once you see this in action, you'll never go back to random prompting. Instead of typing woman in cafe like most beginners do, we're going to use this structure: a young woman with freckles. That's our subject, specific and clear. Smiling thoughtfully and sitting on a beach, that's our action, what she's doing. In a cozy cafe by the window, that's our environment. Shot on a Canon 5D Mark IV, that's our art style, telling the AI exactly what kind of image quality we want. Natural window light, that's our lighting setup. Warm coffee cup in hands, soft focus background, those are our details that make the image feel real and professional. Now watch what happens when I input this prompt. This isn't just a generic woman in a cafe. This looks like it could be from a professional lifestyle magazine. The lighting is perfect, the composition makes sense, and every detail serves the overall mood of the image. Now, while I'm gonna share these 15 specific prompts with you, I have to tell you, when I first started with AI image generation, I was drowning in scattered tutorials, random prompts I found on Reddit, and constantly switching between different platforms, trying to figure out what actually works. That's exactly why I built AI Master Pro as my personal AI command center. Inside, I've got my prompt creator tool that automatically structures prompts using frameworks like the one I just showed you. 300 plus battle-tested prompts in the Prompt Lab Pro that I use for everything. Also, 9+ hours course bundle, AI-focused, AI-powered. The weekly AI digest keeps me current with tools like Nano Banana, because let's face it, the AI space moves so fast that what works today might be outdated next month. Whether you are a freelancer, creative, or running a business, having everything in one organized hub instead of bookmarking 47 different websites just makes sense. Now let me show you these 15 prompts in action. Let's start with our first expert level prompt, and this is all about creating portrait photography that looks absolutely professional. Here's the exact prompt I use. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You can see how each element of our formula contributes to the final image. The confident business executive gives us the right facial expression and posture. The salt and pepper hair adds character and authenticity. The direct eye contact creates connection with the viewer, and that 85mm portrait lens on medium format film instruction is doing heavy lifting here. It's giving us that professional photography look with the right compression and bokeh. But here's where most people mess up, and then get lazy with a one component. Maybe they'll say, nice lighting, instead of dramatic window lighting, creating rim light effect. That specificity matters. The AI needs to understand exactly what you're visualizing, not just the general vibe. I've tested this prompt probably 50 times with variations, and the consistency is remarkable. Sometimes you'll get slightly different poses or expressions, but the overall quality and professional feel remains consistent. That's the power following the formula exactly. Now let's shift gears to something completely different: product photography. This is where Nano Banana really shines because it understands lighting and materials better than most other AI image generators. Here's my go-to prompt for product shots. Look at this. This image could easily be used for a high-end watch advertisement. The lighting is perfect, the shadows add dimension without being distracting, and you can see the craftsmanship details in the watch face. But here's something interesting that happened during my testing. If you remove the macro lens for sharp detail part, the watch face becomes slightly soft, which might work for some aesthetic purposes, but isn't ideal for product photography, where detail is everything. The key lesson here is that product photography has different requirements than portrait photography, and your prompts need to reflect that. Products need sharp details, controlled lighting, and compositions that highlight features rather than create artistic mood. This is a perfect example of why every word in your prompt matters. In architectural visualization, you're not just describing a building, you're describing a vision of how space, light, and form work together. Here's a prompt I've refined over months of testing. You need to think about the relationship between the building and its environment, the time of day, and how light interacts with materials. That golden hour specification isn't just for aesthetics, it's because that's when architectural photography looks most professional and appealing. This is a perfect example of why every word in your prompt matters. In architectural visualization, you're not just describing a building, you're describing a vision of how space, light, and form work together. You know, as I'm showing you these prompts and the incredible images we're getting from Nano Banana, something just hit me. These images are so good, they deserve to be more than just static pictures. That's exactly why I'm excited to tell you about today's sponsor, Veed, the all-in-one AI-powered video creation platform that just dropped something huge. They just launched Veed Fabric 1.0, their first AI video model that's set to disrupt the AI video generation space. And here's what makes it insane. It can turn any image into a talking video with a click of a button. Let's say I've just created this perfect character with Nano Banana. I can upload it directly into Veed Fabric 1.0, and in seconds, this static image comes to life with realistic movement and voice.
So beautiful place. I love my morning coffee.
Veed Fabric 1.0 is 60 times cheaper and 7 times faster than other models on the market, and you can generate videos up to 1 minute long. But here's the real power move. Once Veed Fabric 1.0 creates your video, you're not stuck with what you get. You can immediately edit and personalize it further with Veed's full editing suite. Add custom brand colors, automated subtitles in multiple languages, smooth transitions, everything you need to go from idea to engaging social content in a single flow. This is the perfect companion to what we're doing with Nano Banana. First, we generate the perfect image, then we bring it to life with audio and movement. Veed is sponsoring this video, and they're offering 30% off your first month when you use the code in the description. That's a limited time offer, so if you want to see how this new model is changing the game, check it out. Now let me show you these Nano Banana prompts in action. Landscape photography with AI requires thinking about atmospheric conditions, depth, and the relationship between foreground and background elements. Here's my formula. Sunrise with warm golden light is specific timing that affects the entire mood of the image, while foreground rocks providing compositional anchor ensures we get proper depth and visual flow. Look at this result. The AI has captured that magical quality that makes landscape photography compelling. The reflections are convincing, the lighting feels natural, and the composition draws your eye through the image, from foreground to background. But here's something important I learned. Without specifying crystal clear water showing perfect reflections, you often get lakes that look muddy or unclear, which destroys the magical quality of alpine scenery. Street photography with AI is challenging because it needs to feel spontaneous and authentic while still being carefully composed. Here's my approach. That candid moment with genuine expression instruction is crucial because forced or artificial expressions destroy the street photography aesthetic. Soft afternoon light filtering through street trees provides flattering lighting that feels natural rather than studio created. Here's our result, and you can see how the image captures that authentic street photography feel. The expression looks natural, the lighting feels like real sunlight, and the background context supports the story without being distracting. During testing, I found that without specifying authentic street scene feeling unposed, the AI often creates images that look too perfect or staged. The secret with street photography prompts is remembering that This genre is about capturing life as it naturally occurs. So your technical specifications need to support that authenticity rather than undermining it. Now let's shift into more creative territory with abstract art. This is where Nano Banana can create truly unique pieces that would be impossible with traditional photography. Here's my abstract prompt. Flowing liquid metal forms gives the AI permission to create impossible physics, while dramatic light and creating depth and shadow ensures the abstract forms have dimensional quality. Looking at this result, we've created something that could hang in a modern art gallery. The interplay between organic and geometric forms creates visual tension, and the metallic textures add richness and complexity. Abstract art prompts are about describing feelings, relationships, and dynamics rather than specific objects. You're giving the AI artistic direction rather than photographic instruction. Let's move into image editing territory, which is where Nano Banana really shows its power. I'm gonna take an existing portrait and demonstrate how to enhance specific elements. I am uploading a portrait photo now and applying this enhancement prompt. The key with portrait editing is being specific about what you want enhanced while being equally specific about what should remain natural. Naturally smooth while maintaining realistic pores prevents the AI from creating that artificial, overly smooth look that screams heavily edited. Here's our enhanced result. And you can see how the skin looks refined but still authentic. The lighting adds dimension without looking artificial, and the eyes have more presence without looking fake. The secret with portrait enhancement is understanding that people can subconsciously detect overprocessing, so your prompts need to guide the AI towards subtle improvements rather than dramatic alterations. Background replacement is one of the most practical applications of AI image editing, but it's also where I see the most failures. Here's my tested approach. The critical elements here are maintain natural lighting on subject and preserve original subject shadows, because these details make the difference between convincing replacement and an obvious fake. Looking at our result, the background replacement looks professional and natural. The subject's lighting still makes sense in the new environment, and there are no telltale signs of editing around the edges. Background replacement prompts need to account for light inconsistency, shadow behavior, and edge quality. You're not just swapping backgrounds, you're creating a believable new environment for your subject. Color grading can transform the entire mood of an image, and AI can apply complex color treatments that would take hours to achieve manually. Here's my color grading prompt. You can see how the image now has that professional movie-like quality. The colors are more vibrant and emotionally engaging without looking over-processed. During testing, I found that color grading prompts need to be specific about preserving certain elements while enhancing others. The key with color grading prompts is understanding that color affects emotion, so you're not just changing technical aspects, you're directing the emotional response to the image. You know what I love about this process? I'm literally pulling some of these prompt structures from my AI Master Pro dashboard right now. Let me actually show you something quick. This is my prompt creator inside the platform. See how it breaks down the components we just talked about. Subject, action, environment. It's like having a prompt engineering coach built right in. One of Nano Banana's most impressive capabilities is clothing replacement, but requires precise prompting to maintain realistic results. All right, let's keep going with these prompts. I'm uploading an image and a reference photo of the desired clothing. The key elements here are maintaining natural fabric drape and preserve original body proportions, because poorly executed clothing swaps can create impossible physics or unrealistic fits. So the leather jacket looks like it was naturally worn by the subject. The fit is convincing. The lighting on the new garment matches the original image, and there are no telltale signs of digital manipulation. Clothing replacement works best when the new garment has similar coverage and structure to the original. You're not just changing appearance, you're creating believable fashion choices. Style transfer allows you to apply the aesthetic of famous artists or art movements to your images. I'm applying this prompt to a landscape photo now, and style transfer requires balancing artistic transformation with subject preservation. Visible brush strokes and soft color blending
gives specific artistic direction, while maintain subject recognition ensures the transformation doesn't go too far. Look at this, it genuinely looks like a painting that could hang in an art museum. The brushwork is convincing, the color palette feels authentic to the Impressionist movement, and the subject remains clearly recognizable.
I discovered that style transfer works best when you specify both the artistic technique and the level of transformation desired. Style transfer prompts are about direct and artistic interpretation while maintaining the core identity of the original image. Lighting can make or break an image, and AI can add or modify lighting conditions with remarkable realism. Here's my lighting adjustment prompt. Dramatic side lighting from camera left gives specific directional information, while enhanced facial structure provides the artistic goal.
Looking at our relit portrait, the addition of directional lighting has transformed a flat, amateur photo into something with professional depth and dimension. The shadows create structure, the highlights add life, and the overall image has much more visual impact. But here's something crucial I learned. Lighting modification works best when it's consistent with the existing environment and doesn't contradict other visual elements.
Lighting prompts require understanding both technical aspects of illumination and the emotional impact of different lighting conditions. Sometimes you need to remove unwanted objects from images, and AI can do this with impressive results when prompted correctly. Here's my approach. I'm using this prompt for a landscape photo with a distracting telephone pole, and object removal requires thinking about what should logically occupy the space after removal. Contextually appropriate scenery guides the AI to fill the space with elements that make sense in the environment.
Here's our cleaned up landscape, and you'd never know there was originally a telephone pole in this location. The AI has intelligently filled the area with sky and background elements that perfectly match the rest of the image. During extensive testing, I found that object removal works best when you're specific about how the space should be filled, rather than just what should be removed.
Object removal prompts need to consider both subtraction and addition, what goes away and what takes its place. Atmospheric conditions can dramatically change the mood and impact of an image. Here's my atmospheric prompt. I'm applying this to a landscape photo, and atmospheric prompts require understanding how weather and environmental conditions affect visibility, lighting, and mood. Subtle morning mist creates specific atmospheric conditions, while enhanced sense of place provides the artistic goal.
Here's an atmospherically enhanced landscape, and the addition of mist has transformed an ordinary scene into something magical and evocative. The depth is enhanced, the lighting becomes more interesting, and the overall mood shifts toward the mystical. During testing, I discovered that atmospheric effects work best when they're subtle and support the existing elements rather than overwhelming them.
Atmospheric prompts are about creating environmental storytelling and emotional resonance through weather and lighting effects. Professional level retouching requires a delicate balance between enhancement and authenticity. Here's my comprehensive retouching prompt. I'm applying this to a portrait that needs polish, and professional retouching requires understanding what constitutes improvement versus overprocessing. Preserving character lines and natural texture prevents the artificial look that destroys credibility.
Looking at our professionally retouched result, the subject looks their absolute best while still looking completely natural and authentic. The skin is refined without being fake, the eyes are more engaging without looking manipulated, and the overall result could pass for professional studio photography. But here's the key insight from extensive testing. Professional retouching is about revealing the best version of what already exists rather than creating something artificial.
Professional retouching prompts require understanding the difference between enhancement and alteration, always favoring authenticity over perfection. But here's the thing I want to emphasize. These aren't just formulas to copy. They are frameworks for understanding how to communicate effectively with AI image generation. The real skill is learning to adapt these principles to your specific creative needs and developing an instinct for what information the AI needs to create what you are visualizing. Now here's your homework. Pick 3 of these prompts that match projects you're actually working on and practice them until the formula becomes second nature. Don't just copy my examples. Adapt the structure to your specific needs and see how the AI responds to different variations. Master these fundamentals and you will find yourself creating images that not only meet your creative vision, but often exceed it in ways you didn't expect. The future visual creation is here, and now you have the tools to make the most of it.